children suffering autism, and through social media and real life experiences. And one thing that touches me, and I have noticed, you tell me if that's correct, is that I have seen that if an autistic child decides to do something, they end up being very good at it. It's like they know how to focus on something. A good example is something I saw on one of the Got Talents, where an autistic child is into music and they're playing the piano while singing, and they do it very well. They do it better than many professionals out there. So, and I'm going to touch this question as we wind up with CBC, which comes in to identify special abilities of the children as well. First of all, do you think, this question is in two parts, do you think CBC is helping these particular children with neurological disorders? And what can we do to harness those special abilities? Because most of them that I have seen, they have special abilities which they are very good at. What can we do to harness them, and is CBC helpful to them?
Very true. CBC is very good for them because, in the past, we were forcing children to books. These children, for the fact of the matter is, they are not good in books. There are some who are good in books. Most of them are not good in books. They are good in vocational skills. You see, someone is good in art and craft. Someone is good in hair making. Someone is good in being a barber. So CBC, I can say, will really help these children, because we will now be focusing on what is this child good in. And to answer your next question,
yes,
what can we do? What we can do is we should have that parent-therapist co-relationship in making sure this child is having a right pathway. Identifying the skills of the child. What does the child has? Which skills does he have, or to maybe do something? So it's a role of a therapist in maybe doing an assessment to see this child can be good in maybe communication, of maybe even being a journalist like you. Someone may be good in shaving. So it's a role of a parent, a role of a therapist, a role of a doctor. So all these people should come up. At the end of the day, they should have one agreement. Where are we heading to? So that we can leave other things that are not maybe meaningful to the child. Let's not force things that the child doesn't like, because most of them doesn't like a lot of things. And most of them, or even all of them, they have that ability, or they have that one thing they like. So let's have let's put our minds together. Let's be full of beans, full of energy, and direct this child towards achieving what or she wants in life. She might not say, or maybe he or she might not tell you, but you will see. It's something observable. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. As we wind up, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to punch it and give your parting shot even as you conclude this conversation.
Okay.
You can do that direct to your camera. Talk to somebody.
To the parents or to the guardians who are having children with disabilities or neurodevelopmental disorders, it is not the end of life. Because what I know is there is a solution to every problem, and we are there to make you proud. So don't feel ashamed. Just face us directly. We are the occupational therapists. We have a team of doctors. We have a team of other cadres. Face us and we will really, really help our child, especially as the occupational therapist. We want to make sure that child of yours, we are putting life, we are making life better, better, and better again. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing. This is Boaz Kimboi, occupational therapist. Very helpful information on what's happening with the neurodevelopmental disorders. I don't know, I'm calling them neurological. Neurodevelopmental disorders. Thank you so much for joining us tonight and allowing us to have this particular conversation. And we would love to have you, even as we continue sharing about these things, so that we can be able to actually conquer some of these diseases and disorders even as we go on. So we shall be calling you back to talk about these disorders in details and see how we can actually tackle them one by one. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation tonight. We are grateful indeed.
Thank you.
All right. That is Boaz Kemboi, occupational therapist at Kestrel Manor. That's how he said it's Kestrel Manor School. We take a short break. We'll be right back with more. Do not go anywhere.
Get ready to kickstart your day with the most exciting morning show around. Tune in to our dynamic and entertaining program where we keep you informed, engaged, and entertained from the moment you wake up.
From breaking news and current events to music, fun, and out of the ordinary stories, we've got you covered with a mix of interviews, games, and special segments. You never know what's in store.
Join us every Monday morning
and Tuesday morning
for a fun and fascinating way to start your day.
Don't miss out on the action.
Tune in now and experience the excitement for yourself.
Only on KUTV Rise Today from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Start your day
with us.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, kipindi kinaanza kwa kishindo nikiwa sehemu ya mankuli. Sehemu hii ndio huwa kunafanyika mankuli yani.
Ndio white kebab mahali imefika imelainika, ikutayarisha kuweka shape ama uweke ile shape yenye unataka. Inaweza kuwa round shape ama white shape size.
Aina ya mkate wa Uswahilini, huu mkate kuna majina ambayo ni tofauti tofauti. Sasa hawa wanatumia majina ya Kimombo kutokana na utalii.
Now your mom knows about it, and according to her nature, she will definitely humiliate me. And what will other people say?
Listen to me carefully. If you ever claim that Sheba's baby is yours, I'll take you down. Serious. Dylan's an absolute drunkard.
Just give him a break, Nabi.
Okay, but I'm not marrying Zilla.
What are you doing here?
And who the hell is this? You want some?
Just come down. Be cool.
Get your hands off her, you...
That con man, even from prison he torments us.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. Welcome back. You're still watching KUTV Primetime News, and we're here to inform you on what's happening in the country and beyond our borders. I want to read a few of your comments right here, what you have been sending. So Sharon Kitur says Boaz is on fire. Boaz is still within our buildings and he is getting this particular feedback. This is awesome knowledge at its best. That is Lydia Kayla. And then Pius Kiprop, say hi to Boaz, my former colleague and excellent OT, occupational therapist, I believe. This is a very touching, sensitive and important topic to discuss. My passion for neurodevelopmental disorders is overall mental health. Then Viola Chamonges says good presentation. Hosea Koech, good work Boaz Kemboi. And then Claire Kibabu, proud of Uncle Adea. I believe Uncle Adia is the person that has just left the studio talking about Boaz. Then Brenda Toom says Pongezi Sana. Thank you so much for staying tuned to KTV Primetime News. Now to one of our interesting stories of tonight, where the Isebania Migori Kisii Road project has been halted for 3 days following the recent gold rush by residents who started digging up sections of the laid Maram in search for gold deposits. Police were forced to lob tear gas to disperse the desperate residents who had camped at the site in search of gold. The construction project, worth 8.5 billion shillings, connects Kenya and Tanzania and is expected to boost trade between the two countries as well as improve the social and economic status of the locals.
The ongoing construction of the Isebania Migori Kisii Road, which connects Kenya and Tanzania, has been affected for the last 3 days at Rongo Town after residents started to scramble for rock collections in search of gold. The gold deposits were discovered at Komire area in Awendo sub-county by the Chinese firm while outsourcing Maram for the road under construction. The firm has been hiring and leasing out farms for the rocks and Maram along areas which have been used for gold mining for decades. Modvin Achieng, a miner at Rongo Town, said that the heavy machines and earth movers have helped in unearthing the gold ores, adding that she will still camp at the site for more gold.
We're warning again and we're saying the national government and the county government with relevant agencies have formed a multi-agency team again to ensure that we solve the issues. And we're telling Wananchi to give a wide berth to this area because it is secured, it is a security zone. And
Ezekiel Okeyo, the Assistant Chief of North Sakwa Location, noted that while the locals need roads, their livelihoods cannot be denied, but affirmed that they were doing everything to strike a balance at the excavation site.
We just had a meeting right now, and in the meeting tuliamua kwamba Chinese wako na contract ya kuchukua Maram with a target ya kumaliza hii highway. So you cannot stop them from getting that Maram because they walikuwa wamelizi shamba. So what we're going to do, tunataka tuongee na wananchi wapatie Chinese time watoe Maram, alafu pia wananchi wawe na side nyingine ya kukota dhahabu.
However, the police were forced to lobby tear gas to disperse the residents as they termed the activity illegal. Migori County Commissioner David Gitonga further warned the residents to stay away from the site and allow the government to find a workable solution to benefit both interested parties.
There are some areas we get the gold, some areas there's no gold. Therefore, when we bring it, they normally come and collect some sample of it and they go with. Therefore, quite a number normally come and I normally give them time to take, then they go.
As the government strives to improve road infrastructure to provide better services, Kenyans continue to find means to cushion the high cost of living, and in this case, gold was the way out. Julie Ongaki, KUTV.
Most refugees that come into the country usually can't communicate well in English or Swahili. In a bid to ease communication, Maarifa College in Nairobi offers English courses for refugees to help them adapt as well as ease their integration into the society.
Masajid Saif al-Din escaped from war and violence in Sudan. The Sudanese journalist was forced to seek refuge in Kenya.
I came here to Ethiopia after the outbreak of war in my country. Seriously, I had a lot of problems before reaching here. My trip is very long. With start from Al-Kamlin, Ethiopia to Gondar and Addis, and after that from here.
Saif al-Din and many other refugees who live in Nairobi struggle to speak or write in English or Swahili. Saif al-Din has enrolled in English language courses at Maarifa College, a higher learning institute in the Kenyan capital that helps refugees and locals learn different languages.
Very difficult because all people talk Swahili and English. As for the culture in Sudan, just I talk about Arabic, not English. Just I'm here in Maarifa College. I learn to talk English here.
Tyrese Yusuf, a Somali refugee, faces a similar problem. Now he must learn English and Swahili in a short period of time to survive in Nairobi.
When I came here, it was difficult for me English, but I started to listening, hiking, and then I feel improved. How can I talk English?
Mary Niakoa, a teacher at Marifa College, says the language barrier makes many of her students feel isolated and hopeless.
We teach them how to speak, but we also give them moral values, moral support, so they understand when you are out there how you're supposed to conduct yourself as a refugee. One thing that we do here is after 3 months, we normally have different programs, and one of them is to teach them their rights as refugees.
Providing inclusive education to refugees can be a challenging task. Obstacles include the availability of schools, classrooms, and teachers in host communities. Salome Tera is the Director of Adult Education in Nairobi County.
They should be given an education in English and Swahili so they can live and speak to people here. We should understand the problem they have.
Among Kenyan citizens, the language barrier is just one of the challenges refugees face in Kenya. For Huwa Abdi, Nairobi, Kenya, Salam Solomon, VOA News.
Now let's go beyond our borders, where Nigeria has just finished a week-long campaign against human trafficking to mark the World Day Against Trafficking. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime says Nigeria is a major source, transit, and destination country in Africa for human trafficking, but has a poor conviction rate for those responsible.
In 2017, Tracy Gabriel was desperate to help get her family out of poverty when a close friend introduced her to a so-called madam, an older woman who she says lured younger girls into sex trafficking. Gabriel says the woman promised her a job in France, but instead smuggled her to Libya for prostitution. She barely survived the journey.
If your water got finished, you will just die. And that is what really going to happen, because nobody will want to sacrifice his water to give to you. Until you sit with your neighbor, you find out that the next neighbor with you is dead.
To be freed, Gabriel was required to pay back the woman about $40,000. She worked as a prostitute in Libya for 6 months before she could escape.
They call it connection house in Libya, but it's a prostitution house where different men came to come and carry you. Doesn't have to. Then you'll be paying them. They will be forcing you, beating you. Do what you don't want to do.
The UN says Nigeria is a major source, transit, and destination for women and children subjected to human trafficking in Africa. Nigeria's National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, or NAPTIP, says 61% of human trafficking cases occur in country, while 39% happen abroad.
In terms of trends and patterns, we see an increase of trafficking in persons for forced prostitution and other forms of sexual exploitation, and a lot of trafficking for labor exploitation.
In 2 decades, NAPTIP says it has rescued nearly 22,000 victims of human trafficking, but has convicted only about 600 offenders. Waziri Aziz says some witnesses believe traffickers are just trying to help the victims.
There are cases where communities, individuals don't want to cooperate with us because they feel the trafficker is trying to help, mainly because of the ignorance and because they don't know what it entails. So that has seriously stifled our investigative and prosecutorial rates.
If you see
The non-profit Develop Center for Africa Development is training teachers and caregivers to teach others in their communities how to use technology to identify human traffickers and report cases.
Right now, they're now using social media. So online human trafficking is an evolving form of trafficking that has, been taking place over the last few years. We are deploying technology known as Stockholm app, which we are using to gather reports and respond to cases of trafficking.
While they find new ways to fight human trafficking, Oswigwe says those guilty of the crime are looking for creative ways to keep exploiting victims. Timothy Obiezu for VOA News, Abuja, Nigeria.
Welcome back, and now we get sporty. Vihiga County will host the 4th edition of Safaricom Chapa Dimba's first ever county finals, slated for this weekend. The tournament that targets youth between the age of 16 and 20 will kick off with a face-off between Ebwali Boys and Bunyore Assassins in the boys category, while Madeira Girls will rub shoulders with Maroon Queens this Saturday at Mumboha Stadium in Luanda. The Vihiga finals will be followed by Busia, Kakamega and Bungoma County finals next weekend. County winners will play at Western Regional Finals later this month at the renowned Buhungu Stadium. With that story on Chapa Dimba, we come to the close of our conversation tonight. But this is not the end of our conversation, as it happens every single day at 6:30 on what we call Mizizi ya Habari every weekday, and Mizizi Weekendi every Saturday and Sunday. And then at 9 p.m. we have Primetime News, KTV Primetime News from Monday to Friday, and the Weekend Live on Saturday and Sunday. Be sure to stay tuned to KTV News as we get to let you understand what's happening in your country and beyond our borders. It matters: politics, business, health, environment, and sports. We've come to the close of the conversation for tonight. Our sign language interpreter is EVALYN LANGAT. Before I let you go, if you have a child who has neurodevelopmental disorders, you know what to do. Don't stay alone. Just go out, reach out to a doctor, reach out to a community, make sure the child grows up with a community around them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a few minutes ago we had an interesting conversation on neurodevelopmental orders. And every Friday on KTV Primetime News, we bring you conversations on health and environment. A few times we take you to the hospital or to the doctor's office for consultation, free of charge, as we have done tonight, so you can be able to understand different diseases and disorders that affect the human health, the human body. And then at times we look at our natural habitat, at our home, which is called Earth. What has happened to our Earth and what we must do to come back to stability. So make sure every Friday you tune in at 9 p.m. as we seek to inform you on these pertinent issues. We've come to the close of the conversation. Once again, my name is MUTEGI K. Martin. Good night.